Power poles snapped in last night's storm. Trees knocked down all over Cave Creek.
Steve Nielsen now showing us the damage around the valley.
Relentless. The storm ripped through isolated parts of the valley. Before the downpour, the wall of dust settled over downtown. Then the lightning, wind, and rain.
The storm was wicked.
In Cave Creek, the crackle of rainfall became the roar of a chainsaw as the sun rose.
We're like, damn, like we can't. It's too much. That's all else to right now.
Eric and Joseph spent the morning dicing up debris in this shopping center off Cave Creek in Tatum. When he heard the roar last night, he knew it meant work.
As soon as I saw the storm, like, it's going to be a lot of trees tomorrow.
To the south, Scottsdale and Frank Lloyd Wright, a carport badly damaged by a fallen tree.
It just was alarming to just see all of the trees down, and I'm concerned about the vehicles.
Miles away, the damage continued. Neighbors spending the day cutting up their fallen trees. Off Tatum and Deer Valley, this tree cracked open a concrete block wall. Crews already cleared the sidewalk. Far north in Payson, the rain turned to hail. Dave said he didn't see hail at his home in Cave Creek.
Obviously rattling the house and didn't really know what the damage was until just now, actually.
He considers himself lucky to have dodged any downed trees.
Did you think there'd be more damage at your house?
I thought there might be, yeah. In the backyard's a little messy, but it's just mostly leaves and nothing's down. No cacti fell over, nothing like that.
Pinnacle Peak Road completely shut down for a mile at Tatum. Power poles snapped in the wind. Power was out immediately as the poles crashed, but rerouted quickly, according to APS.
We do our best to make sure that we have resources staged, that our equipment is maintained throughout the year and ready for monsoon storms. And when we have these extreme, Mother Nature events, our crews are at the ready to respond.
And that was Steve Nielsen reporting. APS says in total 27 poles were snapped, and it's going to take them days to make repairs and reopen Pinnacle Peak Road. Even with all the recent rainfall in Arizona, some areas in the high country are under evacuation orders as flames burn near their homes. That big concern is the fast-moving black fire in the Tonto National Forest. It's burning on the south side of Roosevelt Lake on the edge of the Superstition Wilderness. And in its most recent update this morning, the Tonto National Forest says that the blaze has scorched nearly 6,000 acres. No containment right now. Forest officials say more storms could help quell down those flames.
The evacuated areas now include Tonto National Monument, Blackbrush Ranch, Cross P Ranch, Revis Mountain School, Cottonwood Cove Picnic Area, and multiple campgrounds listed there on your screen. These are all on go status, meaning you should leave now.
Meanwhile, some locations remain at set status. That means you need to be ready to leave at a moment's notice. Those include Roosevelt Lakeview RV Park and Marina, Roosevelt Post Office, Lakeview Mobile Home Park, and Quail Run. Donald Trump is now the Republican Party's official nominee for president, and we now know who will be his running mate.
Yeah, day one of the Republican National Convention kicking off in Milwaukee, Wisconsin today, and that's where we find Fox 10's John Hook. So, John, you've been to a lot of these types of events over the years. How does this one compare, especially coming off this major moment in our history over the weekend?
Well, Christina, it reminds me a little bit of 2004 George W. Bush at Madison Square Garden in the wake of 9/11. That security apparatus around Madison Square Garden was unbelievable. This is equal to it or more. The Secret Service is saying they're not ramping anything up, that they're going with the protocol they had before this. I'm not sure I believe that because this security is unreal. We got caught in a 2.5-hour trip trying to get to our hotel through all the security mags and searches of cars. So they are taking this seriously. But welcome to Fiserv Forum in Milwaukee, night number one for the Republican National Convention, and it's been a busy day already. Donald Trump ended the suspense on social media today about who his running mate would be, and he picked the youngest guy in the field, 39-year-old Senator from Ohio, J.D. Vance, the first millennial named to a major presidential ticket. He was at one time highly critical of Trump, calling him a moral disaster and America's Hitler, but eventually came to believe that Trump had evolved into a great president and won his endorsement in his 2022 Senate run. Trump passed over more experienced names like Florida Senator Marco Rubio and North Dakota Senator or Governor Doug Burgum. Vance is a Marine who served in Iraq, attended Yale Law School, joined a firm in Silicon Valley, an investment firm before getting into the political world. And it was Joe Biden today who reacted to Vance's pick.
He's a clone of Trump on the issues. A clone of Trump on the issues. So I don't see any difference.
Okay, so there you have it. The commander-in-chief kind of holding his fire and everybody trying to keep the rhetoric down. We'll see if that lasts. Now, earlier today, Donald Trump earned his party's nomination, and it was his other adopted home of Florida that put him over the top. The president nominated for a third time to head the GOP going into a presidential race. And it was the 125 delegates from the Sunshine State putting Mr. Trump over the top, and it was Donald Trump's sons, Eric and Don Jr., and daughter Tiffany, taking the honors.
On behalf of our entire family, and on behalf of the 125 delegates in the unbelievable state of Florida, we hereby nominate every single one of them for the greatest president that's ever lived, and that's Donald J. Trump, hereby declaring him the Republican nominee for President of the United States of America.
And there you go. Donald Trump makes it over the top easily, grabbing just a huge majority of delegates here. The Nikki Haley delegates were released last week by her. We think she'll make an appearance here before this is over. Here's how it looked earlier as Arizona cast its delegates, 43 of them for Donald Trump.
Arizona needs to secure its southern border to prevent the atrocities that are happening and fix its broken election system. And that's why I, Shelby Bush, the delegation chair, and our wonderful state chairwoman, Gina Swoboda, and this entire delegation cast their 43 delegates to Donald J. Trump!
Well, some of the delegates came up to me as I was heading in tonight, the Arizona delegates, and they were kind of grumbling that they wished it was more of an Arizona flair with that announcement on the floor about Arizona's delegates. They didn't get it. It was pretty boilerplate. But at any rate, tonight we think that Donald Trump may make an appearance in the hall via teleconference, that he will pop up, and I'm sure that's going to be a big, big moment tonight. After what he went through over the weekend. But he's got to tread lightly because obviously we had a loss of life there.
Yeah.
A father of two killed, a former firefighter killed in that crowd, 2 other people mortally wounded. They're recovering in the hospital. But this is a chance for Donald Trump, ironically, to appeal to America's better angels and try in this really perilous moment to be a healer. That's kind of a unique situation for him. And I think we may see some of that moving forward. He's completely altered his speech, as Ashley pointed out earlier in her report. He tore up the first 20 pages, and he rewrote it because he didn't think it fit the moment after what happened on Saturday.
Yeah, and everyone will be watching to see what he says and how he reacts to this moment. And, of course, what he looks like as well, because we haven't really gotten to see the damage that was done from that bullet, right, at least not up until this point.
Yeah, and he has talked to some reporters about this. He talked to Brett Baer about it, that, I mean, it was literally an inch of his life that he would have been killed had he not moved at the last second. And you talk about moments in history that changed the course of history. We'd be having a far different gathering here had that bullet struck him in a more severe way. He is incredibly, incredibly lucky.
John, thank you for the live report tonight. And, of course, we will be checking in with John Hook all week in Milwaukee for the RNC. John's going to bring us reports from the convention throughout the next several days.